श्री गुरुवे नमः.
And my near and dear friends. Muchas gracias to the Bhumkar sir. Muchas gracias is a Spanish word. It means big thank you for taking Thane on a world map. Your perseverance for excellence is a commendable, sir. मराठी तसं जर मी म्हटलं की कुठलीही गोष्ट करायची असो, भले ती मेंढपाळ असो किंवा स्टॅम्बर्गरांना हत्तीवरची मिरवणूक असो, जे काही केलं ते तुम्ही युनिक केलं सर. खरं तर आज मायक्रोची अवेअरनेस डे आहे. छोटीशी मला कळालेली गोष्ट की सर या फील्ड मध्ये इन 2008 Bhumkar from Nashik visited you. He has absent enough. It is not a health problem only. It comes with a social stigma. His parents' tears and helplessness determine कि sir, no, tomorrow I will do this type of surgeries and no one will cry. माझ्या मुलावर काही उपचार होईल का ही जी आरोप किंकाळी असते मुलाची ती सरांच्या मनात घर करून गेली आणि त्यातून झालं जे आहे ते आज आपण बघतोय आहे की वर्ल्ड मध्ये जे थोडेफार चॅम्पियन आहेत यातही सरांचं युनिकनेस आहे ते नंतर बोलेन. सर, what you do no one can imagine and no one can try to copy it also. Uniqueness is your USP, passion is your face, and excellence is your dream which always comes into reality. How many Microtia surgeons in India, in Asia, in our continent or in the world? Very few. But what uniqueness is in Sir is he does not only pinna reconstructions but hearing preservation and hearing reconstructions. What matter is, sir, you are not only good surgeon, you are good teacher, good human being. तुम्ही जे काही आम्हाला दिलंय ते सर भरभरून दिलंय. फक्त जाता जाता मी एकच गोष्ट सांगतो. मी मागे हे बोललो होतो, घेणाऱ्याने घेत जावे, देणाऱ्याने देत जावे, घेता घेता घेणाऱ्याने देणाऱ्यांचे हात घ्यावे. तेच आम्हाला हवंय. थँक्यू. मी ज्योत्स्नाला बोलवतो.
Thanks, sir. Good evening, all. Today, as we are celebrating Microtia Awareness Day, I take the opportunity on behalf of Thane AOI to congratulate Bhumkar sir, Dr. Gayatri, and team for doing the tremendous work and great achievement, having great achievement in this field. Recently, they have been invited by UAE government for conducting international Microtia program, where thousands of patients would be benefited by pinna reconstruction and hearing preservation surgeries. If I have not mistaken, you have started this great journey since 2008 from at Dr. Bhumkar's ENT hospital, and it must be so rewarding and satisfying to see the smile on the patient's face as well as on the parents' faces when they get a new ear. Now he is not only performing these surgeries in India, but also many more thousands of patients are benefiting internationally, especially in Kazakhstan and UAE, by this type of surgeries. There is a small interesting story which I have heard. I would like to share with you all. The Kazakhstan embassy wanted to appoint a Microtia surgeon, and they wanted a top-notch Microtia surgeon. So they had chosen 7 to 8 Microtia surgeons all over the world. And after inquiring with them, most of the surgeons quoted some remuneration for doing the surgeries, as well as they wanted the remunerations in advance. However, when asked Dr. Bhumkar sir, he said, "Let me see the patient first." So it is always the patient first for him, and so he wanted to see what he can do best for the patient, and then he said, "I will talk about money later." So this is the passion which we see in sir, and we always follow you, sir, in doing great work, whatever you are doing, and he is the only ENT surgeon in this field in the Asia doing successful pinna reconstruction surgeries and hearing improvement surgeries. It is a great pleasure to welcome you, sir. I request Dr. Sunil to.
Dr. Sunil.
you, Rahul. Thank you so much, sir. Such an overwhelming response. Like, मैंने जिसको phone किया, everybody has come here, and sir, everybody has come to celebrate your day. Hats off to and thank you to all of you who are here. And thank you, sir. So honestly, this day is very important for two reasons. The plight of a child who has hearing handicap is not seen, not understood. Whereas a person who is blind is directly understood. But the person who is blind, the things are not understood so well unless you talk to them, unless you communicate with them, and then you realize that the person is not able to hear. There are very unfortunate kids who are born with a deformed ear. That is just a cosmetic thing, but that definitely loses their confidence. And above that, they cannot hear properly. Those kids whose nerves are gone, they can be corrected with a cochlear implant. But this conductive deafness, the ear is not formed, the cosmetic appearance is very bad. These kids always had only one option. They used to apply some plastic made or some materials went on improving, the cosmesis went on improving. They used to just put a piece of implant on the ear with a magnet and they used to move around, and they always used to have their hair flocks over the ear so that it was unseen. But then when he saw the light of these kids, and then he decided to venture into it, and once he ventures into something, he does it with most perfection and absolutely honesty and with a great passion and excellence. Then when he took in the surgery, the ears were fantastic, kids were born, it was a magic when the child without a ear used to go inside and used to come out with a very beautiful ear, but again the hearing. Like hearing was always a concern with the child. There was very few surgeons who do it, and there are very few surgeons who do it good. But Dr. Bhumkar is the only person in the world who does the cosmesis and the hearing reconstruction at the same sitting. So that all is talked about him as a surgeon. But if you see that his words of pearls of wisdom, whenever I sit with him and we keep on talking, I do get some of the words, some sentences which change my life so wonderfully, and I have become a more happier person. So I remember once, you always know that my tonsil stories. Like whenever I was operating tonsils, I usually had some problems. I used to call all my dear friends, and I'm sure most of the ENT surgeons have come here to help me during my catastrophes. And I used to go again and keep on learning. Okay, where am I doing wrong? But whenever I used to go and operate and see somebody, I used to always feel, maybe to ऐसे ही करता हूँ. Where am I going wrong? I never understood. But when I went and saw sir, his one sentence was, respect tonsillar mucosa exactly the same way you respect the middle ear mucosa. You should have only finger movements and not the wrist movements. I did that, adopted that change. And trust me, after that, sir, my tonsils are better, and I don't trouble any of the ENT surgeons here to come and help me there. But of course, whenever I need you, please do come. One more thing, my dad met with an accident a few years back. He was crossing on a zebra line and he was hit by a biker who did not have a license, and he was underage. So it's a crime. A child who is not allowed to drive, and he was driving rash, and my dad met with an accident. It was a very major accident, and he had one-sided, entire rib cage was fractured. And all the surgeons who were treating him and all the doctors who were treating him, they used to say that he'll have rib pain all the time. Whenever he breathes and whenever he exhales, he will always be having pain. So I was always scared, a senior citizen at the age of 77, 78, he'll be having this problem throughout his life. So I was always tense, and I wanted to punish that child. And I used all my sources to see to it that he's punished. मैं सर के पास भी गया, sir, please help me that. You know how the police was. He went to the police station only once or twice, and I used to sit in the police station for months together to see that the child is punished. I had a very bad time. But when I met sir to help me, he said, boss, punishing the child is your ego. Finish it off. You should see that I assure you that your father will not have the problem, because we do so many rib harvesting from small children. It's just a scientific fracture, but they do not have any problem later on. So so many kids whom I operated, their ribs are fractured, we harvest the ribs, When they don't have a problem, why should your father have it? And trust me, after 2 months, my dad did not have a problem. It's almost 7 years now. So he taught me that you should not have egos. And what is the ego like? मतलब उस बच्चे को punish करना was the ego. I understood that time. And the moment I understood that, I stopped it. And trust me, I was very peaceful and mentally happy after that. So similarly, there are so many things what I would like to share about sir, but बात करूँगा तो रात भर गुजरती जाएगी, and then we'll not have happy hours here. Sir, I bow to you, sir. Thank you. And one more thing, Angan Singh, he's a man, he's a surgeon with par excellence. He's a surgeon with absolute acumen. It's not a one surgery when you go and see, you feel that this surgery should not have been done. That is the most important thing. And second, when you see, he is a management guru. When we started a laboratory, during a second wave, we were overworked, and whenever I used to call, my phones were always busy. We were disturbed and we used to work in 24/7. Sir came to our lab once, and there he just said, he gave us some management tips, and we followed and we understood what is to be done. Within 7 days, we had 24 hours in time. The way he said how to delegate work to people, how you should direct somebody, and then that work should be delegated. All the management tips that we got from him, and fantastically we could do better in that worst times of the COVID that we had. So he is a fantastic management guru, human being, and a very good soul at heart. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. My dear friends from our fraternity, Thane AOI, if anybody wants to talk about sir, please. Sir, please, Dr. Bharat Gupta, he has a long association with sir. Sir, please come.
मैं जवानों में बुढ़ा हूँ, मैं दिल से जवान। अरे याद नहीं रहता यार, पापा आ गए, अभी तो बोल रहे जवान। गिर गया। तेरे को देख के नर्वस हो जाता है।
Thank you, Sunil, for asking me to say a few words regarding Ashesh. As we know, we all say and believe now, Modi hai to mumkin hai. Here lies Ashesh hai to mumkin hai. My initial impression when I came from UK in 1995, I had a case where I wanted to put grommets. And I know in India, many people do not know what is grommet and they do not know how to do it. But I was doing it. So I rang up around, and then I landed with Ashesh. I rang him up and he said, yes, I've got it. Come over. I went to him. Not only he gave me dozen of in a vati with holes, so in future I can autoclave them and I can never forget it.
I forgot that.
I don't think you remember. Then again, talking about him is like giving a torch to someone. No, we are too small to talk. Two people whom I was told when I came in Thane, you must know if you want to live and practice. Don't laugh. One was your husband, Dr. Bhumkar and Dr. Bhanushali. Sorry, Bhanushali and Bhumkar. That was the one. And two other people who were surprisingly unique in the way they lived. They had their name written on their cars. Anil Thate. That was amazing. I've never seen somebody writing and roaming around in the car. Very impressions, yeah, boss.
मैं इतना परेशान हो गया था यार, ये भूमकर क्या है? बहुत दुनिया में बहुत तोप देख ली मगर ऐसी नहीं मिली. Anyway, to come to the few of my feelings for you, I have not known you properly even yet today. Whatever I know of you is your work and what people have told me or what I have observed. He is a man who can do things, turntables. If you wish to do a thing and if he is convinced that you are right, believe me, there are no restrictions. He will open his heart, door, money, whatever you want, and he will guide you and make sure that it is a success. We have seen stories of people coming new into Thane from different medical specialty, not only from ENT. He not only, once he knows this one is proper, he will promote and promote to the extent that the person is established. Second, if you are in the new ventures, Sunil is an example, and you decide to go, first of all, he will push you into that venture. Whether you like it or not, he will say, bloody hell, you get out. Second thing, if you go ahead, then he is the ultimate. Sir, you are the example of your performance. He will make sure he will give 110% to that person. That he will make a mega event, an event to be remembered all throughout your life. This is what he is. Now coming to Microtia. See, this is a thing which he started with a passion. He went on his own expenses to different people and ultimately found out who could guide him into this. Then he pursued with it further, and believe me, with his team, he has created something. Just imagine parents who are born with such a child, deaf or not deaf, but with a defect. This is not fault of theirs, but within their family as well as outside, in society, they feel all the time guilty and depressed. Now such parents, when they come to him, from nationally or internationally, and in one stroke, he corrects the problem from inner ear to outer ear, like a master, like a magic wand. He says, okay, come tomorrow morning and I'm going to go with my magic wand and fairy will come and clear it. And this is what exactly he did. Sir, you are Jubin Mehta of an orchestra. And I will be dimming myself if I do not mention Gayatri, who is your Pablo Picasso, and Michelangelo. I will be too small if I do not mention them and your team. Now another thing which I realized, you during your short residency with us, he conducted live workshops at his hospital. More than 50 people used to attend every Sunday. Not only he gave us feast of his surgical skills and skills of his 3 musketeers. I can't forget Ashim and Satish. But whether it was breakfast, lunch or dinner, lunch or tea break, we had different cuisines, both from India and abroad, brought from, why the hell, I don't know from where he could get them. So one day, I was sitting with Gayatri and him and I said, यार तो वर्किंग लंच दे दिया कर, यहाँ तो वड़ा पाव भी चल जाएगा, सैंडविच भी चल जाएगा. कहता नो, if you are coming to me, you are my most beloved guest, and you should get the best. See, this is the spirit of a person who does it for anybody and everybody, and to ENT people, just do it. He has got no bounds. I think I'm talking too much. Lastly, I would like to say a few words for Madam you, Priya. I have hardly known you, probably just few times I met you pleasantly. Sometimes you may be having some impressions about me, I don't know. But you are the person who is basically, as they say, behind every successful man, there is a woman. इस गधेड़ी के साथ तुम भी हो.
मैं थोड़ा करेक्ट करूंगी.
हाँ.
अभी आजकल जो है ना, बिहाइंड नहीं बोलते, बिसाइड बोलना चाहिए.
Madam, you are the pillar on which he leans. You are.
मैं बहुत दिनों से ये सोचती हूँ.
I'll correct myself. You are the pillar on which he leans, and his work speaks because of your support. Lastly, एक चीज मैंने अपने दिल से लिखी आपके लिए. है तो गाना अलग, मगर मैंने इसको डिस्टॉर्ट किया है. द गाना है जमाने ने मारे जवां कैसे कैसे, जमी खो गई का आसमां कैसे कैसे. I said जमाने ने जाना जवां कैसे कैसे, जमाने ने जाना जवां कैसे कैसे, स्टार कैसे कैसे, आशीष कैसे कैसे, बट आशिया के जगह मैंने आपको आशीष कर दिया. Thank you all.
This is our Thane OI's function. Other than doctors, this ENT surgeon,
सर 2 मिनिट कोणी डॉक्टर्स बाकी ते
काटे sir.
I'm not a ENT, neither from Thane.
You are a guest.
Yeah. Well,
no introduction.
okay, my name is Sandesh Mayekar. I'm a dentist from Mumbai. Well, I had a problem in 2010 that I could not speak. I do a lot of lectures, not at home, but a lot of lectures. And suddenly my voice was absolutely gone. It became hoarse. I could not speak. I went to all known ENT surgeons in Mumbai. And one of the things which we see, at least I see in a doctor, is the attitude. Work comes secondary. Because attitude matters a lot. So I didn't like the attitude of the topmost people. And I happened to meet him, I think at Oberai's function. So, ENT from Thane. So I went and met him. He saw my face that I am not 100% convinced. And I think he had a function in Oberoi or Taj, I don't remember, Oberoi. He had a lecture in Oberoi, he called me there and he showed me exactly how the operation will be done to remove the nodule on my larynx. Friends, that's the involvement of a doctor with the patient, because a doctor should understand what is that the patient has not understood and make him convinced by showing and getting that confidence. Friends, I gave my voice to him. I mean, imagine if something could have gone wrong. Today I would have been speaking in actions. But here is a man who can convince people for what he does. And that's what is Ashish, and Ashish I really appreciate. And there are a lot of patients who come all over and they like his way of diagnosis, which is very important, and then the treatment plan. So that's Ashish who can convince about his work to the core that patient is convinced. And that's how I landed him in 2010, if I'm not mistaken. Thank you, Ashish, for that. Thank you.
We have to add, after the surgery, there was a phone call which came to inquire about his voice. And guess who had called? Lata Mangeshkar. And she says, "Aata Sandesh, mala competition honar ka काय?" I said, at least on the phone call she came to our clinic.
अजून कोणी आहे का? नाही तर मी बोलायला सुरुवात केलं तर आयुष्य जाणार माझं. सो मला फक्त पटकन बोलायचं आहे. आज मला हे बोलणं खूप गरजेचं आहे. इट्स नेसेसिटी फॉर मी टू टॉक. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ भूमकर फॅमिली, माझ्या भूमकर हॉस्पिटल फॅमिली, संतोष, सुभाष, त्या सर्वांतर्फे थैंक्स आपल्या सर्वांना. आपण सर्व इथे आलात, आप लोग सब यहाँ पे आए उसके लिए थैंक्स. अभी संदेश मयेकर साहब ने बोला मेरा गला ठीक कर दिया, मेरे को आवाज दे दिया. यहाँ पे आप फोटोज देख रहे हैं, किसी को कान दे दिया, किसी का ऑपरेशन कर करके ENT का जो कुछ भी डिजीज है, वॉट एवर द डिजीज द पेशेंट वॉज सफरिंग फ्रॉम, वो सब दे दिया. अभी अब सब दे के मैं परेशान हुआ. अभी सोच रहा था कि मेरे को भी क्या बोलना चाहिए, मैं परेशान हो गया. मेरा तो नाम ही बदली कर दिया. 18 साल से सर के साथ हूँ और कोई मुझे दिखता है, रास्ते में मिलता है, यू आर हितेश भूमकर. बोला यस आई एम हितेश. तो माँ बाप ने बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट के ऊपर डॉक्टर नहीं, हितेश रायशी छाड़वा ऐसा लिखा है. बट कोई अच्छा सा सर्टिफिकेट कभी मिलेगा जब भी हितेश भूमकर लिखा हुआ जरूर आएगा. सो थैंक यू सर. मैं एक 18 साल के ये जो एहसान है, वो ऑल दिस फेवर्स, आई विल जस्ट सिंग वन सिंपल सॉन्ग एंड देन आई विल फिनिश. एहसान का तेरे है ये कमाल के बन गया मैं तो बेमिसाल. पत्थर था मैं तेरे साथ ने, पत्थर में डाली है जान. थैंक यू सर.
I told you okay, there is a uniqueness. So in a main call, Stamberger came on an elephant and accompanying him is Dr. Kalyani Kate with a Stamberger on elephant. I request Dr. Kalyani Kate, sir.
Thank you, Raghu. Good evening, everyone. I am here not to say Ashesh is a doctor. I can say, frankly, Raji, you are weeping. He is truly, of course, he is an international doctor, but he is more than the doctor, he is a social worker. When I came here after my MS, I met him in his clinic. He is the only person to know me. He called me, I used to sit in his OPD, he used to show the cases, and even the post-operative follow-up cases, he used to take me in the OT. That's why, and he gave me some sort of confidence that you start here in Thane, don't go in periphery. Second thing, I started my practice. Later on, I didn't have a home, so I said, Ashish, I want a home. I wanted to purchase in Hiranandani. He called LH Hiranandani and he said, you go and meet that old man. So I went to his Regal clinic. He gave, the rate was 1800 per square foot. That old man gave me at the rate of 1500 per square foot. So it was in lakhs of difference. I got a home because of him. Then third thing is, when I was a treasurer, he was a secretary. We conducted in 1993 conference, state level conference. People all around the Maharashtra, we had given title watches as a gift and Samsonite bag as a gift. Almost they used to compare all the conferences to Thane conference, and that credit goes to Ashesh. Even till today, next, when we conducted in 93, 94, I think it was a Bombay town. So they conducted in a Farias in Lonavala. In Lonavala, Kolhapur people, they started fighting because they didn't get something, a proper food or something like that. And on the stage, the Kolhapur person, Thorat, he was the secretary of Kolhapur Bank, he told to all the delegates all over the Maharashtra, on the stage, he said, you should learn how to conduct the conference from Ashesh. That is the great credit goes to Ashesh in conducting all the events, almost the conferences. That's my personal experience. Next, we have learned many things from him. So, along with the doctor, he is socially very well connected to, I think Sunil just now said, connected to police department, he is connected to TMC, he is connected to governor, he is connected to some ministers, so he is all in one. More than a doctor, if you have got anything to be done from him, you can contact and you can get sanction from him. Thank you, Ashesh. Thank you.
Few more dignitaries are here. So Mahavir Jain Hospitals, two trustees, Bharat Bhai Mehta, Praveen Bhai Cheda. सर आपको कुछ महेंद्र भाई किधर है? दिख नहीं है महेंद्र भाई ओ सर सर प्लीज
See this man, I don't know, in 93 only, we had suits for everyone. You remember Ashesh? And that was the costliest material, I think that time it was a camel wool and 3,500 some meter and it was the costliest one. We had all. We were like a band bajane wala in the conferences and that is the only time I have seen in the suit. Otherwise, his favorite dress is only t-shirt, only t-shirt. Whenever he goes all over the world, I don't know. That black t-shirt and he is such an economical fellow. He never thought of taking any costly things. Has anyone seen? I think Rashri, I should ask you. ये कभी पहनता है क्या? ये कभी पहनता है?
No. He keeps his life simple because the surgeries are very complex. No, really. The reason why it's like that is because he doesn't want to waste any time thinking, what do I wear today? It's always about the patient.
उसमें भी सोचते रहता है तू. Thank you.
So I request Shri Mahendra Bhai, Shri Bharat Bhai Mehta, Praveen Bhai, please आइए sir.
Hello. Good evening everyone. First of all, sir, sorry, थोड़ा लेट हो गया मैं. भूमकर सर के बारे में अगर कुछ भी बोलना है तो बहुत सारे शब्दों को एक सेंटेंस में पिरोना पड़ेगा, which is not so easy. I met him when we started this hospital. Dr. Hitesh took me to Ashesh sir, and I asked him we are coming up with this hospital, and we do not have any much knowledge about the medical field and all. So that time I had an interaction with him first time for 1 hour, and during that interaction it was really an eye opener that how one has to go about the hospital. And he said, if charity is the intent, then make sure that charity is by trust and not from the doctors. So that was the key sentence. and this is how, like, we are following, and we have grown. After Mahavir Jain Hospital, then we got the opportunity to do cancer hospital, and in cancer hospital, Bhumkar sir has really played a great role, right since from the day one. The way he is guiding us, the way he is helping us. We have met many meetings, we have traveled together, we have visited many faculties, and he is with us by heart. सर आपके बिना ये कैंसर हॉस्पिटल करना पॉसिबल नहीं है, और महावीर जैन हॉस्पिटल और कैंसर हॉस्पिटल की सक्सेस में भूमकर सर का जो कंट्रीब्यूशन है, दैट इज आई मीन इट इज ट्रेमेंडस, एंड we are really thankful to you, sir, from Jitu Education and Mahavir Medical Trust. And for this Microtia surgery, I know that this surgery was also first time it was done in Mahavir Jain Hospital, and that was the beginning. When we had these kids from Kazakhstan, and believe me, that time the hospital was just started, so all the rooms were empty. So those third floor, all rooms were converted into a kind of a guest house. So yeah, the kids relative, they stayed there, and since we are Jain, so we like believe in Jainism. So eggs and meat and all is not allowed in the hospital, and these people who were there staying for 10 to 12 days, they have followed that protocol, and they have really, like, it was a wonderful experience.
Alien concept for them. They didn't know what is vegetarian.
Yeah. But somehow it was managed, and after that we were looking for more such surgeries, but COVID appeared, and like we could not do it. But we are again, sir, looking forward, and पूरा महावीर हॉस्पिटल, जीतो ट्रस्ट, सब आपके साथ है. आप खाली आवाज दीजिए. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And here one more great flute maestro, Shri Rakesh Chaurasiya ji. Please. सर, आज बातों के सुर निकालिए.
बजाना कहाँ है, बोलना कहाँ, प्रेरणा है. But Ashesh ji, thank you so much for including me in your. मैं डॉक्टर हूँ ना, ENT हूँ, मैं पेशेंट हूँ, क्योंकि हमें बहुत ज़रूरत है हमें आपकी कान को अपने मजबूत रखना है. But being a doctor, I don't know आप इतना inclined म्यूजिक में कैसे हो गए? इनफैक्ट जशन को भी कलाकार बना दिया.
डॉक्टर की भी कला ही है भैया.
नहीं, ये बहुत रेयर कॉम्बिनेशन है, वरना I have not seen any doctor attending any concerts or something, because I understand they're so busy with their occupation, but ये यूनिक जो कॉम्बिनेशन है, ये ऊपर वाला ने कुछ वायरिंग गड़बड़ करके भेजा है. So all the best. Thank you so much.
I request Gayatri's friends, anybody, please come. Archana, Nona, please. सब लोग आइए, चलो.
Let's have a catwalk.
Dr. Bhumkar, Mrs. Bhumkar, Amari, and all the distinguished guests present here. It's my pleasant duty to say a few words for, obviously, Gayatri. Dr. Gayatri, who is almost, or I would say she is like a daughter to me, and we live in the same building. But that apart, the very fact that I'm here today, despite I was not feeling too well last 2 days, but when she asked me to come, I couldn't say no to her, and especially when I got to know that she is being felicitated with her mentor, Dr. Bhumkar. I have heard so much about you, but somehow we met very recently. But Dr. Gayatri is certainly, I think, a very, very important part of your team, and the work that she has been doing also. In fact, I met recently another anesthesiologist recently, I told you, she says ki, when she described her work, she says ki, सुला तो सब लोग देते हैं, हम उनको जगाते हैं. So that's a very, very important part of the surgery which Gayatri is performing. And so I wish you, and what I've already heard from all the distinguished speakers before this, I'm sure that Dr. Bhumkar is a pillar of eminence in the city of Thane. And because Dr. L.H. Hiranandani was a very, very good friend. So after I have attended so many of his felicitations, and now when I hear this, so it's almost reminded me that you are in the same league, if not more. So I wish you and Dr. Gayatri all the very best in all the yeoman service and all the humanitarian services which you're performing. So on behalf of all of us, we wish you all the very best. Thank you. Thank you.
We call Gayatri the Zakir Hussain.
Hello? Yeah.
If she doesn't do
Come,
the Saath
please.
Barabar, the music is all gone.
Good evening. My name is Shreyoshi Rastogi. Now, why I want to come on the stage and speak about Dr. Bhumkar and Dr. Gayatri is because both my parents are doctors. My father is a cardio, my mother is a gynec. So I have grown up seeing them patients first. I have been at home with my sister, taking care of my sister, my younger sister. My parents are both from the army. So I have always seen discussing over the tables about patient. If a patient is not well, they are worried and they are, the whole night they are awake. They're constantly worried about patients. That's how I've grown up. So I've met a lot of doctors during my time, in the sense as uncles and then as friends and, now. So when I first met Gayatri, it was like, I think we met first because of her kids. And then after that, we met her as a doctor. I came to know what kind of a doctor she is. And then I remember, the whole time she used to be busy talking about her patients. Isko aisa karna hai, isko aisa dekhna hai. And I was like, I'm going back to the days of, what I used to hear my parents say. And then I met Dr. Bhumkar because I had a problem and I'm very, very nervous. Because you see, growing up, I have seen patients and, that was one reason why I didn't take medicine. Seeing my parents, I'm sorry, but that's how it was. And then I was so nervous because of my throat, and like I said, I went to Dr. Bhumkar. First of all, it was Gayatri who said many years back. She said, "Tum aao to sahi, just come to my hospital, come and meet Dr. Bhumkar and then see what happens, the miracle that happens." And I still remember I went absolutely apprehensive sitting outside that, will he be able to understand me, what, how it will be. So I just walk in and I see this face of Dr. Bhumkar and it just reminded me of my father. This is my father. My father is 80 years old. He was here for his, he'd come for 20 days. And for him, patient first, you see his face. And then I see Dr. Bhumkar and I'm like, everything is going to be okay. And that's how it was. Everything is okay. And I think anything happens, it's him first. We consult him. We consult him and Gayatri is always there behind us. Anything happens to us, her phone calls constantly day and night. Would you come? Do I come home? Do I come home or not? Tell me that, that you're going to get better. So, I'm sorry, I don't know if I've been able to place my words and my emotions properly, but the relation with Gayatri goes back years and I'm very thankful for Dr. Gayatri and I'm so thankful to meet Dr. Bhumkar through her. He's the greatest. Thank you. Thank you.
Friends, when you heard the name COVID and then Rahul Pandit, Fortis Hospital, कोविड नावाच्या आतंकवाद्याला देशातनं बाहेर काढणारे डॉक्टर राहुल पंडित सर.
So, Hitesh has given one introduction of Niki Rahul Pandit. My other introduction is that my better half is a ENT surgeon. So that's how I knew Dr. Bhumkar first. I also always hear from Sonali about this great man who would reconstruct his ears and give some meaningful life to these young children. And I always thought that it would be fascinating to sort of meet him one day. And I don't want to go into the first talk which we had on the phone that night. So that's another story for another day to talk about. But I just wanted to say today, thank you very much, Dr. Bhumkar and Priyaji, to include us in your friends list. Thank you very much. Family, yes.
One more very close family member, friend, Mrs. Meera Narvekar, madam.
Dr. Meera Narvekar.
Dr. Meera Narvekar, madam. Yeah.
Head of the IT. Hello, flavor, yeah?
No, just nothing. So good evening, I'm Meera, and what can I say about you, Gayatri? Thank you so much for being here. Really, I don't want to say anything, but words are not enough to express what I feel for you. I came to you with my son as for his treatment, and we were so, what state of mind I was, and especially my husband, he was hyper about it, But the moment we met you, everything would be okay. And then I would say, I came to you with my son as patients, but I think we've gained friends for life. That's what I'll say. So congratulations and thank you so much. Priya and Gayatri, thank you so much.
केस गेल्यानंतर थोडीशी मेमरी पण कमी होते, तर मी कोणाचं नाव विसरलं असते तर प्लीज एनीबडी हु वॉन्ट्स टू कम अँड टॉक, या प्लीज.
I don't think that is the case.
केस मानधनी सर, सर यांच्यानंतर तुम्ही या.
Good evening, friends. I am Dr. Mandani, ENT surgeon. मी आणि आशिष दोघेजण ससूनला बरोबरच होतो डिप्लोमा करायला. त्यावेळीपासूनचा माझा परिचय आहे आणि त्यावेळी पण मी बघितलं की ज्यावेळी काही एक्सलंट गोष्टी कशात असतील तो शोधण्याचा नेहमी हा आशिष प्रयत्न करायचा. आमच्या वेळी डॉक्टर टेपन फार फेमस होते तिथे आणि ते इयर सर्जरी एवढे सुंदर करायचे, तर दॅट वॉज टेकन बाय हिम पर्टिक्युलरली. आणि नंतर आम्ही दोघे ठाण्याला पण आलो आणि ठाण्याला आल्यानंतर मी जेव्हा बघितलं की एक नॉर्मल ENT सर्जन आणि आशिषमध्ये काय फरक आहे. ही इज डेफिनेटली ॲबनॉर्मल इन द सेन्स दॅट ही ऑलवेज लुक फॉर द एक्सलंट इन द फील्ड. आणि त्याच्यामुळे जे लोक एक्सलंट असतील देशामध्ये त्यांना पुढे आणण्याचं काम त्यांनी केलेलं आहे. फॉर एक्झाम्पल डॉक्टर सतीश जैन, ही वॉज नोन जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ हिम, because he saw his work and he called him in our conference, Thane conference, and then he came to the limelight. Otherwise also he would have come in the limelight, but he was the first person to call him. So that is the thing. Now after coming to Bombay, he again went to ABR Desai to learn the things. So he was the best. Yeah, ABR Desai was the best, considered to be the best in the India. So he took training there also. And I see that he always look for the excellent, and when all other our ENT surgeons looking for middle ear and they going towards the inner ear, towards the cochlear implant and brainstem implant, he came out on the outer side, say outer ear, and nobody was thinking of correction of the microtia because he used to take the stage. It was a stage procedure, and he also did the stage procedure initially. Then he defined the surgery, redefined the surgery, met with the world leaders in the Microtia, and then he came with his own technique. So I really appreciate him and I wish all the success in his future life. Thank you so much.
नितीन सर, सरांचे फ्रेंड श्री नितीन प्रधान सर.
Me and Ashesh go a long way. We're childhood friends. My very early memory of him, when I first met him, was an extremely cerebral person. You know, I was maybe in the 10th standard, Ashesh was in the 8th standard. The first thing that struck me was a very bright boy. The second was this tremendous focus on excellence. Excellence is a word I don't think we knew in those times. I'm talking about the 70s. But there are a couple of anecdotal things that come to mind when I was thinking about. We used to play table tennis together, and Ashesh hated losing. Okay, and if you are playing a game against him and if he loses, then you have to play the next game. It's 9:30, well past the time that you are allowed to spend out of home, and you have to play. When I started reflecting what is that drives him, was that single element of being the best that he could be at every moment in life. He always had this innate ability and focus to be the best that he could be. The second is, if he found someone who used to play better than him, it always made him push himself to be better than the person that was playing the game. All of this later on in his life, when I reflect back, though the indications of what he will eventually turn out to be were there in the game of table tennis that I saw in Ashesh. The third is his creative side. Not much is said about. Conferences was one thing that was talked about. But be it the spoken word, be it the written word, or be it a graphic, Ashesh had this tremendous ability to really make it look amazing. His invitations for a conference, a simple thing like that, an invite from Ashesh would always be unique. It would always have his imprint, and that would always be better than the best that you would ever see. The fourth, I think what defines him is his innate ability to be fearless. Nothing scares Ashesh. I mean, he's comfortable with any challenge that comes, be it in any field, and that is something that has again stayed with me for a very long time. The fifth is his ability to carry people, and that is reflected in the way his team has come up. The hospital is a very happy place. Every team member is extremely happy, and these things don't come easily. The last, but the most important thing about Ashesh is, and everyone has spoken about him, is being a wonderful human being. And it's almost therapeutic for me to go and sit in his OPD in the evening and to listen to the simple, empathetic conversations that he has with every single patient. And many of you have mentioned that just seeing him, just talking to him, imagine that happening day in, day out with every single patient, starting with the OPD. And so when we look at Microtia, you can see the manifestation of all of these qualities in what he has done. He's gone where nobody goes. Okay, he's skilled himself to a level which is par excellence. And most importantly, there is that human side that a child born with that limitation has a social angle to it. These are some of the things that are reflected in his dedicating himself to not only his normal work in ENT, but also the very specific work in Microtia that he has done. I'm from the corporate world. When I look at Ashesh, to me, he comes across as possibly the best leader that I've ever met. Okay? The corporate world pays billions of dollars to lecture on leadership. To me, Ashesh Bhumkar is the ultimate leader that I've ever met. It is the corporate world's loss that he is not part of corporate life. But I think I think it was for good that it actually did not be in the corporate side, because what he has done is far more nobler and far more impactful. That he became a doctor was truly a blessing. So for me personally, for me and my family, nothing happens, no decision is ever taken unless it is taken through Ashesh and Priya. Okay? So, be it job changes that I have done, be it any other decision that I would have taken, it has always been through Priya family. Tremendously proud of what he has achieved. And of course, I think somehow that the best is still to come. There is not just one last hurrah, but a couple of more hurrahs that are in the offing. And knowing Ashesh, don't be surprised if there are more coming our way. Okay? Thank you, stay blessed. And continue to inspire us.
Sorry, I was a bit long. Hello. I invite all my Thane AOI members to come on the stage, please. Please, all of them, please, sir. Because it will not be possible for one person to felicitate, sir. It will require an organization to felicitate him. Thane END, Thane AOI.
Amar rahe. Thank you. अरे बाबा हंसने का पास ऑल एक गुलाब में सबका गुलाब. Thank you. बड़ा आया और एक निकाल.
Ma'am, please. आइए ना स्टेज पे. सर के साथ.
पहले आप तो गायत्री को पहले क्या
या सगळे
thanks to Dr. Rahul Pandit that my mom is in good health. She was in ICU under his care and he took such good care. Very, very recently she was in the ICU. 2 months back, it was. Thank you, Rahul. We owe it to you.
Okay, so thank you to the entire ENT family on behalf of Ashesh. I'd like to say that. Thank you so much for the honor bestowed today. I want to say a few things about the surgery itself. It is not an easy surgery to conquer. I have seen very difficult phases which Ashesh may have faced during his journey of over 10 years in trying to achieve that level of perfection and excellence at the high standards that he sets for himself. Very disheartening sometimes because it is so challenging. You have to almost like be on top of nature because there are so many things that, you know, nature has its own way when it heals and things like that. But trying to understand those fine nuances and still trying to, you know, at it no matter how hard it is, the deep commitment and just simply the sheer, sometimes it's so hard that you have to say, okay, I'm not going to give this up, even when that's the, you know, the thing that you want to do the most. But then at the end of it all, I think what you see is the result, but there's been tremendous amount of hard work and commitment. And I have seen him go through a lot to get to that place where something that he has taken up, and you don't want to give up on it because it's for the good, it's for the larger good. I also want to say the immense contribution of Gayatri in this, and it would not have been possible to get a surgery which can go on for like 8 hours or 9 hours, and then the kind of the support and the kind of the sharing and simply even her dedication and commitment. And I think they match there, and phenomenal work also done by her, the beauty of the year, and simply surely sharing, you know, all the whole process of the surgery. Would like to acknowledge all that her contribution is, you know, equally there. And I think without team, the phenomenal team of Dr. Bhumkar Hospital, they are all also family for us. And Hitesh, Subhash, and everybody, there are 15 of them in the hospital. I think they all share the same passion and dedication. And I'd also like to say thank you to everybody on our team today. Please convey, not so many of us are there, but please say that it was mentioned and how much it means to us, you know, to have all of you with us. Okay, thank you.
Well, for me, life begins and ends with this wonderful emotion called love. Yes, sir, please say. I am blessed to have a mom, and I think anybody who is loved well by his mother learns the real meaning and dimension of love, which comes in giving. I think that's what love is all about. It is thinking of the other more than yourself. That's if you decode love, and that's what it is. This is what I inherited, and she's the fantastic mom. I've been blessed to have her. Not too much later, at the mature age of 16, I fell in love with Priya, and we discovered another dimension of love in 11th standard. So I've been blessed in terms of the love that I have experienced. So I call this journey a short festival called life. When you have love as the soul and the energy that is taking you around, it is simply a matter of its expression.
be it in patient care, be it in surgery, be it in your relationships with anybody and everybody. It is love that I understand and I am blessed to have that makes the big difference. I think everything else is just a manifestation of that feeling of the cup is overflowing, and when the cup overflows, that's what love is all about. No matter at what cost, you become a little secondary and the other becomes important in specific situations. That's what love is about. I call this the festival of life, the short festival called life, because this is where Jashan, our inspiration, and we have to be very clear here for me and Priya, our inspiration is this son of ours who is incredible, absolutely incredible. His ability to love transcends mine. His horizons, his sheer niceness and kindness as a human being is way evolved. I think he has mutated into something phenomenal in terms of his consciousness and his ability also to relate to a vast majority of people. I am still narrow in my interactions, but he's incredible. And Jashan, thank you for being our son, and thank you for being such a wonderful person. He truly inspires us day in and day out. Those who know his lifestyle, those who know his discipline, I'm nothing. And therefore, when somebody was talking about management, I mean, I am the worst in my household where management is concerned. And yes, I'm not. Yeah, somebody praised me for my management skills, but I'm not. I'm good in certain things. My definition of excellence is you have to be very good at a few things. You have to be very, very bad at many things. And I am that. That is what really it is. About Priya, I cannot really say anything because we simply are one. I think I draw my energies and my everything from this sweetheart of mine. And communication, we said about patient care, I learned communication from her. Because very early on, in a man-woman relationship, we came to this conclusion that communication is the oxygen of relationships. If you are not able to communicate, if there's no ventilation, like in the middle ear or the sinuses, relationships can go malfunctioning. So I learned communication and where that little articulation, she's a linguist, absolutely fabulous reader. I wait for a book to become a film. I never read a book, and she reads and reads and reads. So I learned my English actually from Priya, the thought and the text. So thank you very much. Also blessed to have in Priya the genes that come from her mom and dad. Very, very compassionate, very, very giving again. And since it's a Microtia Awareness Day, I have to acknowledge my trajectory. Priya mentioned that I actually gave up. There may be at least 25 or 30 times that I remember. I said, hell with this, I don't want to do this, let me go back to my comfort zone. Sometimes the skin necrosis, you lose the ear to skin necrosis, which is where she said, learning how nature heals or how it challenges you was a little difficult where Microtia is concerned, because this is not nature at its best, this is nature which is challenged. There's a two-dimensional skin under which a three-dimensional structure is put, so the skin is constantly struggling to heal. And this took a lot of time. Gayatri brought a lot of precision and customization to the skin that we had. So all the beauty of the framework and other things, it came by default because I was taking longer, and there are certain steps which could be outsourced. So she began with putting the wires simply to shorten the 45-50 minutes of anesthesia and surgery time. And from there is a hidden surgeon. In fact, there is a hidden plastic surgeon in her, who's so brilliant at her dimensions and three-dimensional thinking and her handling of the tissues, and she's amazing. I mean, all over the world now she gets admired and appreciated at the best of the ENT forums. With 1,000 ENT doctors in the audience, we've demonstrated, and she's got a standing ovation on the stage by Dr. Ravi Ramalingam in Visakhapatnam, acknowledging her skills surely as a surgeon, not just as an anesthetist. And of course, at our hospital, she does both, which is absolutely incredible. And I cannot say nothing about this man, Hitesh. In our hospital, he is the epitome of love. The godly man, the man who really symbolizes the religious aspect of human service. It's not about God, it's not about his Mahavir, it's not about his religion. All that stands in place, but he sees a Mahavir in every single patient who walks in every single person who actually calls him up, even on the phone. I have to tell you, Rahul, he is your case specimen. From day one of COVID, no mask, he's going and giving treatments to everybody, and he's not got the COVID yet. This man, so he defies when everybody says, mask lagu, penalty lava, he goes, one day in the first wave, he did a test. He never bothered to do a test. I think Subhash also never bothered. He says, sir, मैंने test किया है, मैं positive आएगा तो COVID ward में जाके dance करूँगा. This was his attitude. And be patients of chemotherapy, be patients of cardiac problems, COVID positive, nothing stops him. Even today, he still is incredible. I mean, his religious powers deep within himself, spiritual, are obviously protecting him from everything. But thank you, Hitesh. You are not like family, you are family. And a lot of our good things happen simply because Hitesh is there. Accompanying him is his shadow, Dr. Subhash Yadav, the silent man behind everything. It is a miracle that he's actually present here. Otherwise, Subhash is known to not even attend birthday parties. There is something about him. And Subhash, thank you very much. Actually, it was Manish Patankar who actually brought him to us. He says, sir, एक अच्छा लड़का है, इसको देखो करने का. So all he does is smiles like a Mickey Mouse. So he doesn't talk much, but he's brilliant, hardworking, and thank you, Subhash, for everything that you do. Sorry, support by you. Santosh Kudai. Santosh the Hanuman. He is our Hanuman. किती वर्ष झाले संतोष सर? Santosh is our Hanuman. He's our OT manager, but he's really the soul. Very, very dedicated. Nobody as dedicated. Not even Hitesh, not even myself. The way he's dedicated to the hospital and everything, he eats, sleeps and drinks Bhumkar Hospital and Service. Thank you, Santosh. Thank you for everything.
Hello. I am very proud to have such a great son.
Thank you. I think खूप वेळ घेतला, and I want to thank each one of you, everybody, for being here. This was supposed to be a surprise for me, but yesterday by accident I came to know because we had some other plans. And Hitesh Singh sir, अपन बाहर जाएंगे, अरे पर कल नहीं परसों जाएंगे. Then Sunil came and he told me, sir, ने ऐसा कुछ किया है. So thank you, Sunil. It was a good occasion of Microtia Awareness Day, and we have to thank all the parents and all the children who have trusted us with their children to create these beautiful years for them.
And with the patient smile and the parents touching your feet, there can be no other emotion or gratitude that we can ever get in our life. I am happy to be associated with Dr. Bhumkar. I am an anesthetist, and that's my prime occupation. But since this surgery was taking a long time, I got into the surgical field. I thank Dr. Bhumkar for giving me this opportunity and trusting on me for the framework and the skill management. I have also my dear friend Bhavesh. He is my anesthetist to go to when I am in trouble. So thank you, Bhavesh, for supporting me. Thank you. Thank you, the ENT fraternity, for acknowledging and felicitating us. Thank you.
When we land up with the bad complications, she's crying in the hospital. So I have no scope to be emotional there because I have to support her. If something goes wrong and she says, Kashala, why did we do this? Why did we not? But it's all a part of the journey. It's emotionally wrenching. It's very, very humbling. At times when the complication can really humble you and challenge you at an egoistic level. And it teaches you a lot. It slowly from surgery becomes an art. From art it becomes a philosophy. That's what this Microtia Atresia surgery is all about. Yes, this is the grit. It's the grit. Yeah. Ego. I think everybody should have an ego, except it should be very big and it should be well placed. Where you place your ego, you cannot escape the ego. But where do you place it? When he said that he wanted to punish the child, don't place it in such lowly things. Place it in something really high because that's what is going to drive him. So I'm all for the ego, but it has to be very, very big. Don't be small in your ego and place it in the right place. That's it. Okay, thank you.
Okay, next. Microtia. This is a deformity, but
इसको काम करना पड़ेगा.
अच्छा ये वाला है.
Congratulations and celebrations. Congratulations and jubilations. I want the world to know how happy it can be. Who would believe that? I used to when I let you walk into my heart. Congratulations and celebrations. When I tell everyone that you're in love with me. Congratulations and jubilations. I want the world to know how happy as can be. I was supposed to go to where above me, and I was only finding myself love me. But then tonight you said you wouldn't live without me, and round about me, you wanted to stay.
Conceptualizing it, doing this. I'm thankful to Sunil. He's a learner, a quick learner, and I think he's an example of innovation. The way he has done the genetic molecular lab with his partner Ashok. We spent many hours in the afternoon sometimes discussing many things. He's now gone into pathology. I think soon he's going to get into cancer diagnostics and trying to shorten the things. You must spend time with Dr. Rahul Pandit. Very, very fertile and imaginative mind. Very good sense of the healthcare space. Thank you, Sonali, for allowing Rahul to be Rahul. And for he's one hard-working, fertile mind. Thank you.
So what an amazing energy in this room right now. Thane gives a big thank you to Dr. Bhumkar and Priya ma'am specially for helping us today to have sir here. And we thank every single person here for coming for this event. So now let's start rolling and enjoying the day, the Microtia Awareness Day with our own master celebrity surgeon, Dr. Bhumkar.
Hello, this is for Mr. Rakesh Chaurasiya. How Jashan Aikre, how Jashan become a musician, how he is fond of musician. And just a simple example to you. I think on the first birthday of Jashan, Ashesh has called, anyone know? Ashesh has called Bhimsen Joshi. So that's how Jashan has become a musician. Thank you.
कोई मंजिल है ना कोई साथी है मैं भी निकल पड़ा हूँ घर से जहाँ जिसकी तलाश है वही साथी है वही मंजिल है जाने जाना ढूंढे तुझे दीवाना सपनों में रोज आए आ जिंदगी में आना अब जाने जाना ढूंढे तुझे दीवाना सपनों में रोज आए आ जिंदगी में आना सनम जिसे ढूंढता हूँ मैं हर गली जगह भी मिली मुझे है लगी मुझे जिसके प्यार पर तो यकीन वो लड़की है कहाँ जिसे सिर्फ मुझसे ही यार हो जो ये कहने को कि नहीं यार हो मैं तुम ही मेरे दिल